Hello people, and welcome back to part 27 of Palaven, our vanilla Cities Skylines build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And thank you for the patience and support during our little hiatus this week. I've had some stuff on with work, as you know, post out on the community channel and let you guys know in the Discord as well. But yeah, we're back in Palaven, and I've missed it. I have missed it. And thanks for all the support on the Hillside Tram episode as well. You guys really enjoyed it, and we returned here for the Part Life modular build cheese as well. I had a look at this little skywalk in action. Nice, I enjoy it. However, we all know what we're here for, finally. So, the downtown road layout episode, after many months of waiting, it is finally here. So essentially, this landmass right here, let's take a look. We've got up to this border to work with right now, and the next tile we unlock will probably stick some little surrounding suburb stuff within this little bit of landmass between the highway and the high density stuff. You know, this is going to be like our skyscrapers, our Manhattan, basically. But we're taking a lot of inspiration from Pittsburgh. So before we do anything in cities, we will jump over into Google Maps and have a little look at our inspiration, kind of see the style and the vibe that we're going for, and just how we're going to build this road network today. So I'll see you in Google Maps. Okay, so welcome to Pittsburgh, everybody. This is going to be the main source of Palaven's inspiration as to how we're going to, factor in all the different intricacies of a downtown and try and make it look as realistic as possible, of course. We can see a little bit of a similarity between the two rivers. This is a big reason why I've gone for Pittsburgh, just because of where they kind of converge here. It's really similar to the Murky Coast map that Palaven is being built on. And you can even see these little layers of height as well. I think Pittsburgh knows what's going on. Especially with this layer here. So yeah, let's have a little look around, shall we? So if we're kind of looking from here, the ring road is the first thing that we're going to build, and we can see kind of how it flows. There's a little highway connection here. I think that these interstate roads, pretty sure they are when they have this little like blue badge with the red top. I'm pretty sure that's an interstate. But we can kind of get some nice road layouts here in terms of the downtown. Again, it's all pretty heavily gridded. But it's not all uniform grids. The angle switches on this side of the river. And again, we can see that we have like a little fountain here as well. Pretty hard to replicate in the unmodded game, but we've got some ideas as to how we can create like a little fountain park. Kind of taking a look at the skyline here. We can see we've got varying layers of height. It's all building up into kind of this central UPMC skyscraper here, which looks a lot like the one from the Japanese content creator pack. And again, lots of really tightly packed in office spaces. We can almost duplicate the assets here. There's a lot going on, and then also taking note as well as to how people come on and off the ring road. An intersection like this in the vanilla game, again, isn't kind of the most simple thing to do, but it is a possibility. And we'll have various little on and off points around the ring road as we kind of come to build it. Oh, there's a jail right here as well. I hadn't noticed this. Yeah, sure. Let's get a prison into the ring road as well. Yeah. So if you haven't used Google Maps before, it looks like there's a university here too. So we could definitely even factor in Palaven's University into the downtown as well, because we've got a really big space to build the downtown in. But in terms of skyscrapers, there isn't actually that many. If you're comparing this to something like Manhattan, like New York, etc., Chicago, the high rises drop off pretty quickly, and then we move into what is, I guess, kind of rolling suburb. It looks like there's some industrial down here as well. Yeah, plenty of little, almost like micro modular builds that make up a downtown, right? Little baseball stadium over here too. We can do stuff like that in cities. So with that in mind, Pittsburgh is our inspiration. Let's actually go ahead and start building our downtown road layout. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I'm constructing my downtown road layouts is come ahead and have a look at the terrain heights infographic. Unless you're going for a very unique style of downtown, having uneven terrain is usually a bad idea in my experience. It's you know, really kind of breaks the consistency of that flat ground. Whereas we will be having a tier between the ring road and the actual road layout itself, we do need to go ahead and do a whole bunch of terraforming to get this thing up to the way we want it. So this land mass here seems like a pretty sensible location to go ahead and start pushing it all out from. And we'll take away a whole bunch of this stuff. Level it all out. And level terrain tool is one of our best friends. Now I was thinking of sinking the highway from this bridge, but I think we're going to keep it elevated. I think we'll save a sunken highway for the Snow City. And again, we'll push this out. So I'll actually delete this canal here because there's no need for this at the minute. We'll just push this up to there. Fine. Okay. Again, we can take kind of all this infrastructure back now. I don't think we're going to include the elevated zoo path. It doesn't really fit the aesthetic I'm going for. Right now, I think we'll take it all back. We'll probably introduce a cycle highway from here at some point too. I'm thinking also we might even put in a monorail here and have a monorail tram and metro switch point alongside a ferry stop here as well, which we'll do in the ferry stop episode, which will probably be after this one. Kind of make you guys wait a little bit longer for some actual downtown building. Okay. Let's keep, there's a lot of nastiness going on here, isn't there? I also want to scoop out a little bit of landmass on my ring road as well. So let's come right up along the river. And don't worry, we're not going to sit through kind of all of this and just running through the initial technique that I'm using. Put some of this away too. There we go. And to this point as well. Cool. That's giving me a pretty solid border. And then to actually start laying down the ring road, I'm going to be using the 2-lane highways first of all. And then we're just going to draw in some straight pieces. Let's go for, say, 40 tiles at the minute. Make sure that we're not getting kind of too much weird terrain generation as we're drawing these things in. And then we'll come from here again as well. Grab another 40. Double check we're not too wild and free. And then do the same thing again over here. Now for my kind of downtown ring road design, obviously this is Spice of the Month, so you guys will be working on your own designs, which we've already seen a few. Thank you for sending them in. Do keep them coming. I'm going to run with elevated metro for my kind of downtown ring road. We're going to come up by 4 increments with the lowest incline, and then have this come in the middle like that. Gotta delete all these trees too, oh no. And then we'll come back down to earth. And then we can just simply snap in the road guideline again. So it's essentially going to be this pattern, this visual, duplicated around our downtown kind of landmass here. Essentially guys, that is what I'm going to do. I guess we can kind of hook in some curves here together. Using our freeform tool to hook them all in. Come to the road guideline, bring it around. The curves aren't too intense. This one might be a little bit actually, but yeah, we can fix this. Bring it in like that. And possibly this one as well. There we go. And then yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this process for the entire ring road. It's going to take me probably an hour or so. But you know, this is it. We're going to get in the base frame, and then once we've got it all in, we can come back and add in some of those junctions, and then we'll come back and kind of see how this little final repeated pattern looks like. So I'll see you when the ring road is done. Just a little ring road building update, guys. Just starting to get the keys in now, which is looking quite spicy. And we can begin to see these little layers in transport height developing too. You know, once we've got metros coming back into and under these lines, it's going to look so cool. Especially at night time as well. Yeah, the nighttime cinematics are going to be something else, I think. But yeah, keys are fitting in wonderfully. We're just lining up with the road guidelines of the ring road. You can see how we're just following this shape and how it's beginning to look from the bird's eye view as we begin to expand around here. I think what we're going to do at this point here is we're going to split the metro temporarily from the ring road, have a metro stop here, allow the ring road to flow into this little crevice, and then bring it around here, which is still in the process of flooding. We need to tidy up some of the terrain here. The river is leaking a little bit. And the ring road is done, guys. That took a long time. There was a lot of terraforming issues, especially this side of the river. Yeah, the water levels in Murky Coast, they're a little bit glitchy, like they don't like to behave themselves. But what this has actually allowed us to do is it saved us a little bit of room for an industrial kind of express road, which we can eventually layer on this height here once the game stops flooding. Because I know at some point we will have some kind of downtown industrial setup kind of within this tile space right here. As we unlock this one, we'll do some higher density industrial vibes to accompany the downtown. But for right now, the ring road is looking alright. It's, you know, we've got some really nice layers of transportation height, I suppose, is a spice phrase. Bringing in the road from the Palaven as well. And also just broke off the ring metro in a couple of places as well. So the way I'm planning to kind of utilize the ring metro is it will carry people obviously from kind of, you know, one point all the way over to the other without them having to transfer through all the inner city road network. And then as we kind of build in the intercity public transport, which will be made up of, again, probably metro, maybe a train network, possibly monorail too. You know, we haven't really got to that point yet. I guess it kind of depends on the individual build as to what public transport we use. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this ring road. Especially once we've got some like repeated tree patterns along here as well. You know, so we're kind of looking at it from here. You know, you can just start to picture with the high rises behind this little ring road and metro here. It's going to be glorious. It really is. We might place a couple of skyscrapers in today, just so we can kind of see how we're going to look. Because I think it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that's how the ring road done. This is going to be the shape of our downtown. Now, it's not going to be kind of all skyscrapers, you know. There's going to be some high density in here. Actually, this is a good point. If you have any specific requests for builds for the downtown, you know, outside the usual of like, you know, a financial district, a central park kind of build, we're going to be doing like a stadium thing as well. So, you know, if you guys have any specific downtown area requests, this is the episode to get them in the comments. And we'll see what we can do. But yeah. Where we have this kind of very harsh cutaway, what I am going to do kind of off camera is just run through with my soften terrain tool. Just take a little bit of the harshness out of that slope. Kind of see a difference here. You know, it's a little bit smoother. And you look down this line, it's, you know, it is quite harsh, but you know, we've got a little sunken ring road here. It's going to be great fun to decorate, I'm sure. So yeah, now we can begin work on the actual inner city downtown road network. We'll kind of have a look at how that's going to appear. Can we just take a minute here, guys, to admire how beautiful the forest industry looks at night time. I've just been having a little fly around the map, running up with some downtown ideas, and stumbled across the pulp mills at night. Look, especially with the arboreal theme. This, guys, is the definition of 11 secret herbs and spices, right? It's one of my favorites, this one. Super nice at night time. Anyway, Just been kind of playing with a few ideas off camera here of an initial kind of high density road layout where we will find most of our skyscrapers, kind of a larger financial district kind of build, right? And this building from the Japan Content Creator Pack is certainly going to take a center stage. It is a lovely looking asset. It doesn't look like it lights up at night for some reason. That's a little bit disappointing. But it's still a fine asset nonetheless. And we're going to kind of build out of this thing, I think. Get a look at it from some of the suburbs over here. Yeah, okay. Now check it from the other angles as always. And it fits in. Now we kind of start layering the height with the unique buildings now. And we start kind of crawling down from the centerpiece skyscraper. It's going to be fun, guys. It's going to be fun. But I think as a little teaser to what that skyline will eventually look like, this is... Oh, that's like a nice little spice sample, isn't it? Spice samples, let's make that a thing. Right, okay, we need to get on with this because I've been recording this episode for days at a time and I need to get it done. So there's a little bit of kind of a metro switch point idea developing here. And again, I think, you know, once we've got metros, especially on the ring metro coming in as well, we can add a stop along here for that. And also bring people in from the Palaven metro line, which flows here. How much room do we have? It's going to be a little while before we unlock this tile. So I think what we'll do is bring this metro line around right up against the map boundary, just as like a little temporary fix, and then bring it into this one. And that way it just gives, you know, Sims another connection into the downtown anyway. Okay, so let's carry on with this highway over here. So what I want to do is bring this one straight through the middle of the downtown. We're going to cross it over the river and have it kind of like hug this little cliffside, because we're not ever going to build here, right? This is, you know, really nasty terrain to be working with, and we want to keep the natural kind of shape and features of the mountain here anyway. And then bring this highway over into this one right here. And I think what we'll also do is provide a highway connection straight into the ring road. So we'll probably cut away a little bit of this, open it all up, and then have some kind of interchange coming out and hooking into this one. So this does take us back to the start of the city. Ideas are brewing. Okay, let's get on with actually placing this road network in. So we're only 2-lane here, which isn't ideal. Let's just go for this point as a nice little barometer to switch to the 3-lane. We'll worry about lane mathematics at a later date. For right now, I just want to get them in so we have a rough idea of what is going to sit where. Let's bring it through. Let's grab this 6-lane as well, because we want him to be factored into this highway as well. I'm just going to come for road length and angle snapping when I'm doing kind of a bridge of this size. Of course, with the lowest incline as well. Again, got that nice little transport infrastructure beginning to develop. And then we should be okay here to come under. Yes, we are. Okay. So we'll now come out by 11. We'll descend down. And then we'll leave that heading straight off in that direction, just as like a little landmark so we know kind of where we want to be aiming for with the highway. Let's carry on bringing him down. Of course, we want all our snapping on for this one. And then this feels like a good point now. So let's go ahead and begin to curve the highway here. Yeah, and we'll do some nice little on and off ramps at various points on this highway throughout the downtown as well. You know, you've got this real kind of straight run down here. Imagine kind of, you know, tall buildings and high density stuff either side of this thing. Probably a central park around here at some point as well. We will kind of map out all our downtown areas with some district tools as well, just so we kind of see where we're expecting things to fit. Okay, so we got now the highway flowing over the ring road at a couple of different points, and obviously this kind of, you know, high density infrastructure theme will repeat at a couple of places over here as well once we hook a line in from this point. Also the interchange that we talked about over here. And we already have it kind of happening down here as well. Although I'm pretty sure we're going to upgrade this highway that flows from Palaven from this point into a 3-lane and have it come through this area. We'll just keep moving them in intervals of 20. We get those nice even support structures on the bridge. Wonderful. And then I guess we should really terraform out a little platform for this highway to sit on. So let's maybe go for this height right here. And then we'll just cut away some of this really roughly. This will be good fun to detail as well, this kind of like mountainside highway. Where's the highway from here? Okay, so... Put away a little more of this. Let's move up a brush size. I really appreciate the people that stopped by for the Among Us stream over the weekend as well, by the way. We did it on Sunday because obviously Palaven isn't ready to stream. Yeah, it was good fun. It was a good laugh, so I hope you enjoyed it. They won't be super often, but you know, occasionally from time to time we'll do something else. And then we'll bring this one into a 2-lane, so it now flows from this direction. They can come off here. However, we also want them to carry straight on, so we'll do that as well. Go ahead and grab another little 2-lane. And then we can bring this out in a similar direction. And then I'm just going to come off with all my snapping whilst we maneuver under the bridge. Maybe besides angle actually, just so we're keeping relatively straight. And then so that we can eye up a nice little 3-path under the bridges. Wonderful. And then we can bring it in, and then a little bit smoother than that. Super. You know, they have their directions of flow. We can go either way. We also want to do the same thing for this side as well, of course. So let's come down into our 2-lane. Again, I'll leave it kind of running pretty parallel. The rest of the highways, let's come back into our road guideline now, so we start to line up with the main highway. And then we can bring in there. Fantastic. And we got some nice trees and kind of chunky rocks around this interchange. It will start to come together a little bit more, I think. I hope. I feel. I guess we'll find out together, guys, won't we? Okay. So in terms of the lane mathematics for these now, these can of course be changed. So we want to have from this point as 2-lane. There we go. And then a similar thing with this one as well. Super. And now we can bring this highway ramp up. We do kind of a nice long slope like that. We're not looking too crazy. I actually wonder if we should turn this one into a tunnel and then bring it out this side. You see, you've got like a real natural slope here, so a tunnel wouldn't look too bad. I think it looks a little more realistic than... But then again, I guess you do get kind of like real highway bridges throughout the world, don't you? So I guess we'll work with it. Again, we'll come off road guideline and just stick to our angle. Yeah, this will probably end up being turned into a tunnel. I just don't like that slope. But it's fine. We'll bear with it for the minute. Then we'll get into the highway, and we now know our lane mathematics can carry on in this fashion. Everyone's the right direction. So there you go. Again, disclaimer. I am not the greatest with interchanges, but we'll definitely come back in a stream and refine this one a little bit more. But just for the downtown road layout, at least we have a connection here. So I guess we can actually play the game now, and we should see some people actually come across this, because it is connected on the other side. Go ahead and make sure all our connections are safe. Let's change the direction here, please. I guess we'll give the game a little save. And we'll see if anyone comes this way. Yep, there you go, already. Be interesting to see how much traffic this interchange actually siphons off the main highway. Go ahead, follow them down and see where they're headed. Get a little stop here actually and see what they're doing. Driving out of the city, exporting fish, go into a Paradox Plaza. And oh, looks like Ashley's going to the Paradox Plaza as well. Okay. Is anyone... Yeah, see, there, someone's leaving the city via this way as well. I don't know why I sound surprised. I know this happens when you hook highways in with each other. You know, I've played cities before. And then they're going to come in and go about their business in Palaven. It'll be good to see this little bit of highway getting some use now as well. Now that it is hooked in, even though it's like a mega long way round for them, it's much faster to go that way. But of course, once the downtown is set up, well, they'll have more reason to come down this road. Okay, let's get a little bird's eye view of what we're looking at here with this highway. You see now, it's almost like a super ring road, right? So, kind of hugs around here, comes back through and hooks into this one, which comes down here and back into this point. Have a little nighttime spice look, shall we? See how we're kind of looking with some of the bridges over the river here. I just want it to be done. Well, I just want to see all the skyscrapers, but I guess that's all part of the fun, right? Yeah, I'm happy with these little bridges over the river here. See them cropping up in a couple of different places. Yeah, it's not a super busy highway either. But again, you know, once we give them reason to travel to the downtown, once there are actually assets to make up the downtown, we'll have a lot more traffic coming by this highway, I imagine. Yeah, it's a really nice little flow. Do like this one. Pretty sure this is a Y, right? Depending which angle you look at it from, it is there. More of a awkward T from this angle. But yeah, okay, we've got that in. Let's stop talking about that, shall we? And let's actually begin to work on the internal downtown road network. So I'm going to go ahead and place a roundabout at the base of this 6-lane road. Let's go ahead and upgrade him into whatever we like. Guess we'll go for 4 lanes right here. How I'm going to treat the downtown for Palaven is kind of similar to... It's almost going to be like a collection of individual modular builds, right? At least that's what I'm thinking for right now. So I'm pretty sure that within this space that kind of runs along the ring road and the river, I want to have the city campus along here. So we can come out straight from the middle and we'll go for a little bit of a fancier road. And then let's start to line this up with our ring road as well. Now let's go for right there. No, not everything's going to be a ring road. I realise that I'm following the road guidelines here, but could you imagine? That would be like the ultimate troll, wouldn't it? If I'm just making you guys wait this long for Palaven's downtown road layout episode, and it turns out to be nothing but ring roads. That's a quick way to ensure the death of a channel. There we go. And come and hook in. We're not too wonky there. No, I think we're good. Okay. So again, just as a little reminder, you know, of that what I want here, I'm just going to go ahead and paint out my campus area. So this will be like the city campus. Bogusia's campus was kind of by itself. We didn't really have, you know, the space in the downtown to fit in a campus, but I want to make sure that, you know, we factor in a downtown kind of design into the campus area. We're a fair way from building it. You can see the capacity that we've got. It will be a while before we work on this university, but now I find mapping out the districts beforehand just give me a little reminder that this is going to be the Palaven University. Obviously, naming it will be available to you guys once we get to that episode. And then we can come through into some smaller roads now. I'm going to switch to the trees for this one. And then let's start to come into our straight tool. And we'll begin to feed some connections under the highway. I'll come out here. And then we'll come out from this one as well. Start bringing these guys around. And of course, all this space here will be kind of filled out with, you know, eventual paths and all university assets. If we can straighten this one up a little bit here, we're a little bit crooked. There you go, it's a little more tolerable, isn't it? Super. So we'll now upgrade the roads off our roundabout. Let's take away the vanilla design as well. Of course, we'll come through and do our own. And again, let's snap to the road guideline here of the highway with one of our arterial roads. And then we can bring this straight the way through. And then we can begin to hook it in. And then we'll just start to introduce some curves into certain parts of the downtown as well. We will go quite grid heavy in some parts. Especially if we can't even know the financial district build or whatever you want to call it. But for this one over here, you know, we're going to have a... You know, our central park is going to reside around here, I think. And do we want kind of, you know, like a main arterial road flowing through the park? So if we're kind of looking at the central park asset itself here, wherever it is, if I can dig it out, here it is. You know, if we can kind of flip this on its side, and it does already have a road connection through the middle as well. We can certainly factor an asset like this in as well. See, it has this little road connection already. So I'm thinking kind of what's going to reside on this side of the highway between kind of this main road and these smaller inner roads. I think we'll probably go for like a nice little shopping district. Get some of the downtown commercial stuff in here from the content creator pack. I think that look pretty nice. Of course, we want to make sure we don't kind of encroach too much into our university. So keep all these little roads here at same increments of 500 on each one, and then just feeding them through to the other side as well. You know, we can come through here as well, and then hook in. Then we'll also add in a couple of little connections back onto this main road too. With your kind of main arterial roads, you don't want to be having loads of junctions on them, so you know you don't want to be kind of doing this stuff where they're stopping and starting all the time. You'll feed them into an area via fewer connections, I guess. Then we can have this road that's going parallel with the highway too. Feed it through at that point. And then we can now start to kind of merge these two networks together as well. So yeah, I think we'll definitely kind of treat this space as like our central park area. Obviously it will look more central once we unlock these tiles and begin to surround kind of this highway with more downtown infrastructure and you know, kind of outer lying downtown suburbia. You imagine they'll be kind of looking across the ring road trench into Central Park and university stuff here with the high-rise stuff more towards the centre. It will look nice. I hope. I hope. Okay, let's bring this metro line as well. We want to make sure that he's factored in, of course. Bring it down to a somewhat sensible height, shall we? And then we can come back and grab our little grassy roads again. Super. So maintaining that dense transportation theme as we continue to move into the downtown as well. That's my road guideline here. And we're now approaching the area where I do want kind of, you know, the high-rise stuff to live. So we'll get in there as well. And then we'll bring this one down just a touch further. Possibly up to about there. And then hook it in. Don't want total kind of straight angles and grids everywhere, you know. So as we're kind of coming to the area where I know that I want a lot of my high-rise stuff, kind of high-density commercial, unique buildings, skyscrapers, etc. The vision that I've got in mind for this is going to be a lot of the downtown commercial content stuff. What's it actually called? Let me check here. Yeah, the modern city centre stuff is the one that I'm after. And I know that I'm going to want a lot of this along here to almost like serve as a like a small border for the high density stuff. So we'll work some of that in. And to get that stuff looking the best it can be, you want these kind of 4x4 tiles in. So that's the, you know, the pattern that I'm going to go for at this point. Bring them down. So obviously double check your measurements. We're still at those 500 intervals. That's what we want. I've kind of 3 of them here, and then we can start to look at some kind of larger road infrastructure behind it to accommodate our taller skyscrapers. We can bring one up through here as well. So when I was talking about, you know, not having too many grids, this is where we'll start to go a little bit more gridded and generate that kind of typical downtown pattern that a lot of people associate, especially with the American cities. So what's kind of our measurement here? 1,000, right? We can come up with another 1,000 here. And then link them up. And then we can come back through the middle here as well. So you know, we're now seeing that higher density vibe develop. And then we can bring our road networks further up here. And again, as we start to transition out of that, you know, financial district vibe, we can look at a slightly different road network for this little landmass, and we can talk into this point where we'll have some, you know, some more unique buildings on kind of the head of the, I guess it's like a little pier, isn't it? A little natural pier of land that's going on. Okay, so we need to decide kind of where we want to take this grid pattern up to. So I think I'll just come out by another, go for 1,500. And then we can continue just to draw them in. Again, keep that pattern going every 500 blocks. Yeah, sticking to just your grid, road length and angles. If you start snapping to other road guidelines, you'll start to notice that fractured zoning. So grid, road length and angle will help you generate, you know, a very nice, obvious grid for your downtown area. Of course, we'll provide connections into various points around here as well. I guess we can also factor in like a little ring road, slip road here too. Maybe come out like an industrial road, you know, just to change up the pattern. And then we'll grab some terraforming. So come into our slope tools and just create a little bit of a natural slope for us to come down here. Nothing too special. We actually want this to be a one-way industrial, so let's bring that down. And then we can switch on to, I guess we can use the highway ramp, but we'll stick with the 2 lanes while we're using the one-way industrial roads. And then we can just mooch on down into the ring road. You know, we'll get some really nice, let's just kind of do a little bit of spice here just because I'm getting withdrawals. Let's grab ourselves a park fence. You know, we can do some like really nice city entrance stuff here as people kind of leave and exit the downtown at various points. I'm gonna grab maybe like a little conifer pattern. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of detail in here because I feel like I'm not explaining myself very well throughout this entire episode. So if we just kind of throw down a couple of skyscrapers here, let's maybe get like the big one that we're clearly a fan of. And then let's maybe go for something a little smaller. Maybe like a downtown hotel and maybe one of these. So, you know, it's this kind of vibe that we're going for. Obviously mixed in with zoning and commercial as well. And we'll see this pattern just flesh out a little bit as we kind of move through the downtown builds one by one. Yeah, I hope that kind of explains it. You know, this is probably going to be an episode where I don't make a lot of sense. But I hope that I can get my ideas across to you guys in a way that is helpful anyway. So of course, let's come back and take our road guideline off. That is not what we wanted to do. I want to bear in mind what's going to happen alongside the ring road here now as well. So we're using the wrong roads here. Break these off. Try again. And then we'll keep our grid coming along here. And we will introduce some little one-way flow systems here, just so you know we don't have any kind of risk of people getting backed up. And then, you know, this is a nice little natural place to break the grid. So coming back to my road guideline, I can snap onto the highway. Bring that one in there. Then take that in as well. And we can fill out this space here with, you know, something, you know, when it actually kind of comes down to building. So, for example, totally hypothetically, episode 31 of Palaven is, you know, the financial district of the downtown. If we do need to take out some of these roads to accommodate a certain asset, then of course we will. Let's actually go now and start introducing some one-way systems. So we'll have this one that flows in this direction. And then kind of a counter one that comes down this way. Wonderful, there we go. And then we'll switch him around. And then we can do something similar via this point as well. So just these little smaller one-way systems will just keep people flowing in directions that pleases everyone. And it will kind of run through these as we come to build them. And then we can upgrade these ones as well. Super. So this is starting to flesh out now. Again, what I'll start to do at this point is, because we're wanting to emerge away from the grid now, is just start leaving some more open spaces for some larger assets, some different ideas and themes to start coming into play. And we can hook into this road here as well. And I think what we'll do here is we'll actually merge off into highway lane. And let's get a little bit of a curve on here with our road guideline. Now we'll have a little highway ramp here. Start to bring our kind of main arterial roads down. We want to find a nice little spot here. I guess this is a good halfway point to kind of come under the bridge. Into that one. Then we can bring it straight the way through. Again, no, just kind of amend this one. And we can hook into this point, bring it through. Have kind of a new main road appear here. And then we'll come back through with our smaller roads here as well. It's going to be a lot of traffic light stuff to do in this part of town, I think. Especially with all these grids going on. Let's get a little look at what we're looking like from the bird's eye view now. We're starting to see it pack out a little bit. And I guess this point here would also be a nice little place to transition over the ring road onto that side of the downtown. Yeah, I'm just stepping to my angle so we can Get everything nice and tightly in. And then we can come down by an interval 10 on this side. And then I do know that I want some eventual kind of high density industry down here as well. We do want to factor in a little slip road for people to kind of come and go from this way. So we'll take this away, we'll put our road guideline back on, we'll switch up our road into something a little more industrial, such as the industrial road, for example. And then terrain here hasn't been tidied up. No, it's not. My mistake. Let's go for this height right here. This will be okay. So rather than forcing that eventual industrial traffic through that inner city downtown road network, just by giving them the option to kind of move between different areas here will just help the traffic flow of them. We all know that the industry stuff isn't the best at kind of dealing with its own traffic. But the more we can help it now, the less work we'll have to do when that episode rolls around. You come here, get a nice little angle in there. And then we can bring out another road from this point. And we can feed this into the suburb and use this road as a transitional point to move into whatever's going to lie in these tiles in however many episodes time. So let's take out these little highway bridges while we squeeze our industrial road through here. Just to make sure that we're lined up on the other side as we want to be. Form for about there, that'll be good. Over into this point now as well. It'd be really cool to do some kind of like dirty industrial kind of port side things here. Almost like we did with the nature reserve and the oil, right? It's kind of like being forced out. No longer considered like profitable or viable for the city. I'll have a little slip lane here that's going to take people up onto the highway. And then we can also work on some cuter, small little on and off ramps that are going to come off the highway at this point as well. Let's bring them down to about here. And again, we'll come back and grab our industrial road. And he's going to run parallel with the ring road for the vast majority of his journey until he reaches another point in the highway. And then we can hook that one in there as well. Now I guess the finer refinements will come as we come to work on each of these little individual areas, which I'm really looking forward to, by the way. I hope you guys are as well. Building in Palaven's vibe and theme. There are some issues across the city at the minute, but just ignore those. Because I am. Okay. So I'm kind of feeling like this little mass here, this empty space, would be ideal for a transport hub. If we look at some of the larger assets, if we're going to look at some of our larger kind of transport assets here, I think this is a pretty sensible space for us to squeeze in, that kind of transport hub vibe. What that transport hub is going to be made up of is kind of yet to be decided. But I'm fairly happy with that to be kind of my transport hub. So we'll kind of mark this area out. And we'll go for transport hub. This will look super sweet as well with all the kind of the highway traffic moving around. All that kind of high density transport infrastructure. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, and then bring some more roads down here. Bring our overground metro out a little bit more. So we'll turn our attention towards this landmass over here. And I think what we're going to do is actually switch the orientation of this metro. So let's take away our little lines here. And then we'll have the main road that the metro is going to lie on. We'll have this one facing the ring. And then we can bring in our little overground metro lines here too. Let's put them back in. Do need to create a few more of these little ring road metro stops as well. And then this will allow us to kind of cross over from this point as well. Over the ring road, it should look quite nice. Come into the middle, and then we can touch back down over here. We get some paths going across here as well. We will be implementing a cycle network into the city as well, don't worry about that. If we went with some like the little park life paths, bring their elevation down as well. Can have them crossing over like this. That'll be a nice little, almost like build up to the metro, you know. Okay, and then we'll use this road guideline snap point as a method on and off here. Bring our roads in, and then we can return to some kind of fancier roads over here. Let's take away this one. Again, we'll just come to the road guideline of the ring. Bring it all around. I really can't wait to see the ring metro in action. I think that'll look really cool. Okay, and then let's come down from this one as well. And then we can come back to those one-way systems in that we placed earlier. Now let's bring it up to this point perhaps. We'll have that one flow in that direction. There we go. And then we will keep this one flowing all the way down. And then this seems again like another little natural point for us to have a little ring road slip. So again, just using the slope terrain tool, we'll create a little bit of a slope for our road to come down. Let's grab our highway ramp. Freeform and angle snapping. And then we'll come out just a little bit. And then begin to merge down and connect in. Super. So as we kind of come to fill in this little landmass right here, if we start drawing out from these roads, you know, you can see we're at a much different angle to this one. So we're going to start getting this kind of stuff. And which, you know, for kind of smaller town or smaller builds, I wouldn't really mind. But whilst I'm in the kind of the higher density part of the downtown here, I want to avoid that as much as possible. So bring that on into there. And then we can switch out of our one-way system now. And then we'll bring this one down up until a point 2. And then we can start to introduce a little more green space, you know. We'll come out another. We're leaving some space for kind of paths and trees to sit between the buildings as we move away from the higher density stuff. Obviously kind of exact measurements and the final look of it will come during that episode for whatever we work on. I've even got some, maybe some like stadium potential here, like a little sports arena. See how we look with the football stadium, just for hypothetical sake, and throw it in. Yeah, I think having this on the ring road with the metro flowing past it. Give it its own metro station on the ring as well. You know, if we're looking at it with the skyscrapers in the background as well. So I guess we can leave this area open for some kind of like sports arena development, I guess. And then we can upgrade this one up to that as well. You know, I do want some like green belt stuff here, so maybe like a little city park that's going to border all the skyscrapers as a transitional effect. I'm going to leave some little spaces like this here and there as well. Wonderful. Fantastic. I do like this though. Little bridges and stuff going over. They look lovely. Alright, let's grab these roads now and we'll come through against the metro. Again, you know, I'm not going to be so busy that these will back up. Then in terms of what we're actually going to do with this parkland, I'm pretty sure, again, kind of taking some inspiration from Pittsburgh as to what's going to lie here. We'll almost have this as like a little kind of tourist parkland. And I know the asset that we're going to place in for this particular build, which will be the fantastic fountain. But obviously, you know, that's not it. This isn't the, you know, the kind of the tourist parkland. We'll get some more uniques in here, but everything kind of focused around the fountain. You know, we'll position this kind of symmetrically at the head of the land. And maybe get some like theme park assets in here as well. I think a Ferris wheel would work really nicely with this fountain. So that's something that we can kind of factor into this area as well. Let's take away these roads and I guess we'll come out with something from the middle. And then we can allow this to kind of come to a natural close. Let's make sure that we're totally terraformed out. Push all this stuff as close to the key as it will allow. And then we can just draw ourselves like a little box in to know that, you know, we want to kind of square something off at the end here. Lots of kind of paths and trees at this point. You know, the downtown is going to be such a fun thing to build. I really am looking forward to diving into some of these little ideas that we've got. And then we can start filling out some more of these spaces here as well. Have a couple of little dead-end roads in, you know, not everything has to link through. And we can have some ones that are going to come down like this. And again, that little reminder. So, you know, we want to go for kind of these big blocks here. We want some more kind of financial vibes in here. As we kind of come down into this area. And, you know, we're going to be building those layers of height again. So we'll go for some more commercial focus in this part. And we want to kind of save this arena here for a little bit kind of like sports and rec. But, and then maybe we can kind of help link all that together with some like riverside high density residential. So we'll slowly see it all come together. I want to actually play the game and see if we get any people using these little highway connections. Because these people actually have a reason to come over this bridge now. Because this has been left empty since like episode 12, was it? Yeah, here we go, here's someone already. Wonder who the first person to travel in the downtown is. William Harvey, who's driving out of the city. Never a good sign, is it? Come back. So taking another look at this corner where we've got our ring metro and the university campus will be kind of amalgamated into these spaces here. They're all very tightly packed in, kind of similar to what we did with the Institute of Technology here, you know. Public transport factored into it as well. And also, you know, we made Palaven, so we had a transition into higher density. So I think we'll definitely have like a chunk of residential and parkland over here as well. But I do want that metro switch point factored in, so let's work on that. So let's just go for this road guideline right here. This will be a good one to work with. Yeah, so this is more what I'm after here. And I think we're definitely going to have like some central parkland here. And have the metro flowing through it. Integrate a stop into the park as well. I think that'll look really sweet. And then there's also the opportunity as well to introduce some underground metro at this point as well. And then we can just have a little metro bridge that's going to feed in. The slope isn't too bad. It's quite gradual. You know, this will be a super little busy point as well from bringing people all the way down this metro line, which obviously stops here. Farmland, Institute of Technology as well, and runs off into the industrial town centre and over there. So it flows right through the heart of the city. So this will be a super busy spot. And then we'll give them a tram interchange here as well when we come to work on the Central Park. And of course they can switch to this line and Underground Metro. But they'll have plenty of opportunities to switch between their kind of preferred method, I suppose. And then we'll hook this in as well. And then we can bring this down to a point and give ourselves a nice little border. Where of course we can squeeze in some lush little green belt stuff as well. And two. And if we come behind the metro here, yeah, we can actually give ourselves some little zoning squares here, which will be nice. Let's come out and almost work around the bridge and the metro. Now, whether we do plazas here or actual zoning, it'll just help to give us a little high density feel, especially with the elevated walkway through here as well. Super. So we're a little bit of an odd shape here, but we'll definitely save this for some of that transitional parkland. And we can probably bring this road down here now as well. Take this one right the way through. And I guess this will be kind of the natural end of our central park here as well, won't it? Which will be lovely. Wonderful. So we'll come out by 11 and then up by 4. And again, we'll start to cross over here. And very similar to what we're planning to do with that other road. We can have this one as another arterial that feeds in that direction, as this one is going to do. And we're still maintaining a nice little look, nice little feel. Wonderful. And then we can bring this road down now as well. And take it under the bridge. Also fed in another little off-ramp for this side of the highway too, just to feed down into this arterial. We do need to factor this bridge in as well, so I wonder if we actually turn this into a tunnel as it touches back into the ground. I think that'll be ideal. Let's work on that. So we're bringing back down to earth. Let's go for there right now. See where we're kind of lining up here. Yeah, okay. And then we'll come back to our straight road tool. Touch back down. And then we'll sink in. And if we wanted to over here, I suppose if we wanted some almost like little standalone assets, we can draw out almost like a private road network here. And focus something around the tunnel. I think there's definitely an idea to be had there. Do need to terraform all this out though. Let's push this up to the height that we're working with. I guess it's similar to what we want to do over here, isn't it? Where we want the fantastic fountain and some parkland. We have like another little peninsula here that we can do something with. But as to what that is yet, I don't know. But we'll work on something cute. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's now begin to feed in our underground metro system here. Take away these little test lines that have obviously been drawn in off camera. We have this one here, that's fine. Let's then... We'll have a metro stop at the university. And then this metro line will continue to, again, kind of hug this arterial road. And again, I don't want to break these tiles because we want them to be the modern city content creator stuff. We'll have one here, again, it's joining up with the Ring Road Metro, more ways for them to move back and forth between the two methods. And we'll have one in the stadium arena as well. Have one this side of the financial district. And again, one within kind of the central park area. and then we can feed it all back through. So I'll go ahead, I'll link all these little metro stations together, and then we'll come back and we'll start to look at some cycle network stuff as well. There we go, so that's all hooked in now. And we'll have that kind of intercity, or inner city, underground metro network connected up, which will be wonderful. Let's now start looking at some cycle highway stuff. So we want people to be able to cycle throughout the downtown, of course. And whilst the individual builds will include kind of, their own cycle paths and stuff as we, link them from area to area, as we kind of decide where and how that build is going to fit into the rest of the city. I do want there to be a consistent run of cycle lanes that runs from kind of one side of the downtown to the other. So I guess we'll work on that. We'll come with our 4 lane first of all, and we'll begin to upgrade as it comes through this way. We can almost end it here as well. Let's turn into a little cycle highway and then transition into a little path. We kind of come down this side. And then we can do some nice little fences and stuff that are gonna hug these little cycle networks. Now we'll just box them off as their own little entity. And then just feed like a little tree pattern through. Then we can allow them to join up on this one as well. I wonder if we want this one actually to be kind of the main cycle road. I think we will. I think we'll upgrade this little grassy road part of the cycle highway, and it will flow past public transport. Then we can continue up to here. We can then change this little cut through road into cycle, and then straight down into this public transport as well. And we can also carry it on through here too. Having kind of this much, cycling infrastructure within the downtown will certainly help alleviate the traffic alongside all that public transport as well. And then we can hook it up through this side too. And if we wanted to, if we were going to make this kind of high-speed highway roads, especially with the sound barriers, which look great for the downtown stuff, then we can even kind of cut the cycle highway like a little bit short here. Let's see, let's upgrade that one again. And then take it off into some little elevated bicycle lanes. So I think just a little elevated cycle roundabout like that will come in nicely. I think what we'll save this kind of chunk of land for here is some, I guess, some like transitional office space as we move into some dirty industry down here. It's going to be a tough little transition to work on that one, but I guess we'll see what happens. We'll also have to do a heavy traffic ban around this side as well, because once that dirty industry is there, I imagine we'll get a lot of industrial traffic trying to squeeze its way through here. But if we give them, again, another little connection further down, straight into the highway, as we have done with our other industrial areas in the city, we'll come to kind of appreciate that road network a little more. All about preparing for it in advance, isn't it? And then again, let's bring out it's a little dead end road here just to fill out some of these spaces. So we're kind of as tightly packed in as possible. Super. So the cycle highway right now, flowing into a couple of different places. So upgrade. I guess we'll keep this chunk upgraded up to the metro, and then they can move through this area. We'll also upgrade a couple of these roads that aren't one way into cycle network. So we can have one that flows through here, and then it can arrive back here to the metro. And I guess we can do this one. Yeah, it's a little bit of a change up in the road texture, isn't it? Wonderful. And it's going to pass by the sports arena here too. Maybe we can link cycle paths into this district when we come to build it. Super. And I've got a cycle highway that's kind of flowing from one metro right through the financial district. It then splits off here and comes into the cycle roundabout, and also follows kind of the main riverfront road down here, and then again into more public transport and into the little metro switch point over here as well. But guys, that does feel like a good place to jump into what will probably be a very limited detailing time lapse. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some more little slip road connections here, and probably won't do too much detailing today. You know, we'll save the bulk of the detailing for each of the individual builds as we come to cover them over the next, probably I guess, 10 or 12 episodes, something like that. And then we can kind of, if you guys have a preference of what you want me to work on first, whether or not you want to see some kind of Central Park stuff, like kind of the downtown campus, or some kind of smaller office space, more commercial focused stuff, or that more high-rise stuff. I'm leaning more towards the high-rise, just so we can get those, you know, those really spicy skyscrapers in. You know, begin to see that theme develop, especially with the Ring Road too. I'll also throw in some more Ring Road metro stops in a similar fashion to this, and then we'll have at least see some activity around the Ring Metro, because I'm just so eager to see it active. Okay guys, finally, that is going to do it for today. Apologies for the wait. I did have some stuff on with work last week, hence the delay in content with the modular build and this episode of Palaven. We should be back to a normal schedule now. It was only last week I had stuff on, but either way, appreciate your patience and understanding. And yeah, here we have kind of the downtown road network frame. This will be subject to change, of course, as we kind of come into place assets and we mold the road network around. You know, if we want like a really important looking asset in, then obviously we will make room for that. Super heavy focus on metro for the downtown network, especially with the ring road and of course the inner city stuff as well. And we'll introduce some little tram networks into the builds that we come to work on in the subsequent episodes. And I'm pretty sure next episode we'll work on getting some of those kind of high density, high rise skyscrapers into Palaven, just so we can kind of see some, you know, chunky downtown network infrastructure come in. Of course, transport hubs, central parks, university, stadium, all to follow. If you guys have any specific builds for the downtown, now is the time to get them in the comments. I'll include some little small cinematics of these little trains going around and just kind of how the downtown network is looking a little up close and personal. Otherwise, I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.